Welcome to the latest episode of Rich and Wibo present the local artist show. Today we have a special guest, the one, the only, the myth, the legend, artist, Darlene Battle. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Darlene, I'm so glad to have you on the show. Now, you're relatively new to the art world from what I heard.
Yes.
Like, I mean, you're doing your own art, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
What made
I started in 2020, actually.
What prompted you to get into art?
Well, I've always been a person who could draw. I could basically make anything out of art. I used to make the decorations for the different holidays for my son and everything. So a friend of mine said to me, well, why don't you try painting? I said, okay, yeah. And so I did.
How old were you then? That was last year when somebody said try the painting.
Yes.
Now, you growing up, you said that you always had the talent to draw. Did it come naturally to you, or did you ever go for lessons?
It came naturally to me for me. I could sit down and draw anything that I saw. And I used to think at one time I wanted to be a clothes designer. So I had a sketchbook of different clothing that I wanted to design when I was growing up. And so it's always been a part of who I am.
Growing up, who are some of your, and even now, maybe they've changed over the years, who are some of your favorite artists?
Well, my favorite artist, Van Gogh.
Oh yeah. Wait, let me stop you
Monet.
right there. Wait,
Yeah.
hold on. I want to stop you at Van Gogh because I'm not sure if you had a chance to go there. Recently, I went to Boston. They had an immersive Van Gogh exhibit, which I think is still happening now, where you go into a building and you actually literally walk into the paintings. It's great. There's a room and they come at you. There's a virtual reality where I'm sure you know the painting Starry, Starry Night. You actually go through the painting. It's so people were falling off their chairs in the virtual reality. You have to sit in your chair. I was holding on to it for dear life because I was floating. It was so realistic. But yeah, I gained a new appreciation for Van Gogh by going to that. And that was just recently. That was 2 months ago.
So yes, I love him because I love what he does with color, and I love the texture of his paintings. So like the irises, this is my take on the irises. And the Van Gogh Starry Night, I have one, this one.
I love it.
Oh, wow.
This one is the combination of his Starry Night and Monet's Water Lilies and the Bridge.
Now, how do you paint that? Do you have a picture in your mind and you just paint from memory, or do you have something that you look at, like a picture of something and say, all right, I'm going to elaborate on that and make it my own?
I do both. So this one, it was so I looked at the Starry Nights, and he did the Starry Nights on the Rhone River, if I'm not mistaken. So I took like the top of that, and then, as I said, Monet is my other favorite. So I thought about the bridge and the lilies, and so I put that combination together. This one I did. When I saw the lilies, I was like, okay, I always think that is beautiful. So this was my take on it. There are some that I do take a picture of it and then paint it, and others that I just do because I have a vision of it in my head.
You, like with the vision you're talking about, do you think about it and just comes to you and you write ideas down? 3 o'clock in the morning, you have a pen and paper, you're like, you know what, I don't want to forget this. And then does it come to you, or do you actually sit down and think about it and say, I want to sit down and I'm not going to leave this table until I actually come up with an idea?
Um, sometimes it's pen and paper. Sometimes I actually sit down and it's like, oh, and I come up with an idea. Then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to try and paint this. So like this one, I did this one. It was like an idea that I came up with.
Oh,
Love it.
And I started to paint it. So usually I start with the background, what I want the background to look like, and then I go from there. So I use acrylic paint, so it's quick, easy, and it dries really fast. And then you can paint on top. So that's what I do.
How did you come with acrylic paints? Did you try different things first and realize that works best for you?
No, actually, this one, acrylic paint, the first time I tried it, I just really liked that. Like I said, I love the brightness, the richness, the texture of the paint, of the colors that I get when I paint a piece. So I stuck with it.
That's basically the first thing you tried and you liked it right away.
Yes.
Did you ever experiment with anything else, like maybe sculptures or something else that you would try, or you're right now, you're fairly new to this, which I'm so impressed. You know what I love about this? I'm going to go off on a tangent a little bit about this, because I think everybody needs to have a passion. Everybody needs to have a hobby, because you can't just, to me anyway, I can't just get up, go to work, eat, go to work, come home, go to sleep, wake up, eat, go to work. You need something to keep your passion. And right now, I do so many different things, and I don't really make money off any of it. Yeah, not me at all. But I don't like to. I don't, even if I don't make any money off of it, I'm just happy that I'm doing something that I love. And it's like for this, the podcast with Wibo, and then I wrote a book. I did stand-up comedy. I was in bands. It's just that I think that I love the fact that some people will say, "Oh, I'm too old for this. I'm too old for that." You're never too old for anything. You just, if you're not neglecting your responsibilities and you're having fun, why not? And you're proving. That is some great work for somebody that started a year ago.
Yeah. I am the same way. I love doing different things. So I love art. I love to sing.
Doing her impression of Marcel Marceau. Darlene Battle. Well, the real Darlene Battle, please stand up.
We lost Darlene for a minute.
All right. John Bristol, when you're listening to this, we lost another one. And we lost Darlene.
Oh, yeah, she's coming back. She's coming back. She's coming back.
Darlene, we're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be back with Darlene Battle right after.
All right.
All of a sudden I hear, brim, brim.
What's a diaphragm again?
Ha! We caught one.
They're supposed to be weird.
Oh, yeah, no. If you say so.
I've always wanted to be in a movie.
Waiting around for autumn, waiting around for autumn. I was watching the TV, I was watching the TV, yeah. Waiting around for winter, waiting around for winter. I was watching the TV, I was watching the TV.
Thank God for editing.
I know editing, boy, that's the best, man. That's the best, man. And I was talking to John. I said, we got to get together. You and him. I'll go for lunch or something. He said, yeah. He said, let him know. We can do that.
John's a great guy, and we really do appreciate all the editing.
I talked to him. Yeah. He's great. We got blessed with that, man. I tell you, man. I tell you.
He does a great job. Great guy. And if we're going to keep this part in, might as well promote him a little bit. John Bristol, who edits all of this, he is the owner, creator, and puppeteer of Elmwood Productions, where they make movies with puppets. His latest movie, Bernice 2, TOO, is coming out in February, and they're gonna have a premiere for it. And I think I might know something about it because from what I heard through the grapevine, I'll be hosting that. So it's gonna be a fun night. It's gonna be in February. I'll get more details. I can't remember the exact date, even though I requested it off and I put it in my calendar. It's sometime in February, Bernice 2. And check out his YouTube channel because he's got so much content on there. And it's great.
Dude, yeah, a lot of stuff for that, John.
There's a movie that it's a horror movie. If you like horror movies and you like puppets, and who doesn't? Come on, be real. Who doesn't? There's a movie called Head. And yes, it is a play on words. It's a great movie, pays homage to the old 80s horror movies, such as my favorite, one of my favorites anyway, Evil Dead. And that's just one of them. And he has a lot of comedies on there. So click onto the Elmwood Productions YouTube channel and you'll not be disappointed.
Yeah, John, he's busy. He's busy, John.
Oh, yeah. No, he is.
And he do a great job, too. Editing on each other. He's very professional about it, yeah. And he supports a lot of people, too. You see it on Facebook. That's good.
Very true. So we appreciate you, John.
Hi, I'm sorry it went out.
Well, Darlene, I was just telling everybody, I said, now that we lost you, your art is worth millions.
Millions of dollars.
I wanted to buy the whole Darlene Battle collection.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
It happened to me last week, brother. Tell him, Rich. Happened to me last week, man.
Yep.
Okay.
I saw them. They couldn't see me. Oh, yeah, we got to straighten up. Yeah.
So before we were rudely cut off, we were talking about passions, and you said that you like, not only do you like art, which you started doing just last year, and that's so impressive that is brand new to you, but you're also a singer. Where do you like to sing?
Oh, I sing gospel, rhythm and blues. I like all kinds of music though.
Yeah.
I just love music.
No, I think that's great because in all genres of all different types of art, you have to have an open mind because there's so many things out there. And if you just stick to like, all right, I only like gospel, I only like metal, I only like pop, or I only like impressionism, or I only like surrealism, you're missing out on so much. That's why I love that you have an open mind. I think that's going to improve your art too, because you're not going to be limited to just one type of art. You're like, well, I like impressionism, I like expressionism, and I love surrealism. So
yes. Yep, I do. So Salvador Dali is my other person.
yes, he is probably, I want
right.
to stop you. I know I keep stopping you, but every time you mention a name, Van Gogh and Salvador Dali, I love his work. I think he is. What's your favorite of his?
So this is my take on the persistence of memory.
Yeah.
And for me, I just think of it as time, because when I look at that piece, I think that it shows different times in your life. Sometimes you feel like you're just hanging on, or sometimes you feel like, you're in a dry place, or sometimes you feel like you're just, your head is just above water. So to me, it's like it painted different times in our lives that we face different things, and he just used the clock, the timepiece. Yeah.
Last week I went to the Wadsworth Athenaeum. There was Wadsworth Athenaeum down the street. I went to a mummy exhibit. That's a different story. But at the Wadsworth, they had a dolly there, and I can't remember the name of it, but I love it because you look at it from a distance, you see a bowl of fruit. You go a little bit closer, you see a dog. You go a little bit closer, you see a bridge. There's at least 5 to 6 different paintings inside that one painting. And I know all his paintings are like that. He puts so much work into the things he does. And recently I saw a documentary on him. I thought it was very interesting because are you familiar with the Lourdes, the whole incident that happened where the girls said they saw the Mother Mary and they were bringing people up to the hill, and that's where they actually Lourdes of Litchfield pays homage to that. That's in Connecticut.
Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they asked him to create a painting representing Lourdes, and that's in France. And I guess nobody even knew he was doing it, kept it quiet. And when it finally came out, the church said, yeah, it's a little too dark for our taste. I guess because it showed hell and things like that. Now they interviewed people, you know, this was how many years ago. Now they interviewed pastors and priests, and they said, this is great. It's just, you know, sometimes it takes a little while for people to appreciate art. But it's funny because they said even his closest confidence, there's his photographer who knew everything about him. He knew everything he was doing. He would take pictures of him while he was doing his work. They said, wait, when did he do this? I never even knew this existed. So I don't know if I'm sure it's out somewhere, but I saw the documentary. I'm not sure if it's a newer one or not, but I think his work is so interesting, and I'm always amazed at things he comes out with.
Yes, so do I. So, you know, like surrealism, you know, they talk about it as, you know, him trying to bring like the dream for the, you know, the different, sometimes the dreams are weird or whatever. For me, when I think surrealism and his work is like, you know, he's trying to draw your attention to the chaos and try to get you to figure out or make sense of it or think about it and see what you know, you understand or come up with. So yeah, I think he's really good.
What's your opinion on the tortured artists? Meaning, a lot of people say that the best creativity usually comes out of tragedy. Do you agree with that? Or do you think that you can make good art or be creative without having to go through the depths of hell?
I think you can make good art. I don't know if it would be the depths of hell. I do think that, you know, life experience will definitely help your art, because then you like come from a real place. That's how I feel about music. I try to sing music that has meaning for me, that I can relate to, that I get something out of it, because if I feel it, then you can feel it. And art also is like that. If I can express it in such a way or paint it in such a way, you ought to be able to look at it and say, wow, maybe you won't feel quite the same way I do about it, but you'll feel something about it. You'll be like, oh, well, that's kind of interesting. Let me think about it. I like that piece. So that's what you want to be able to do as an artist in any field. Be able to have your audience join you in whatever it is you're trying to express.
I like that. Now, I want your opinion on this, because I have my own opinion. I've actually seen his work in person. I went to the Guggenheim in New York, and I like he has an interesting life story. I'm not sure what I think of his art. Jackson Pollock.
Oh, let me tell you a story. So my husband took me to New Haven to the Yale Museum, and we went to see the Jackson Pollock. So the first one I saw, I was like, what? What is this? I said, it looks like finger painting. And he said to me, don't say that. Don't say that. I was like, okay, but really? It looks, and he was like, no, it's Jackson Pollock. I was like, oh, okay. All right. All right. But later on, I got to see some more of his pieces, and I learned to appreciate his art a little better. There are some pieces that he did that were really interesting, but the first impression, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I had the same first impression. I looked at it, I said, somebody just drop some paint and walk away. Just the cloth they used to clean it up.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, go ahead.
My husband teased me he was like, don't ever say that. Don't say that.
I'm guessing he's a fan of Pollock.
My husband he's deceased, but my husband was a fan of everything. He loved art, he loved music, and he loved reading. He was an avid reader. He loved reading, he loved people. So he knew a lot about a lot of different things. And so he and I would, just go on different, I guess, adventures or different things, and he would take me and show me and, get me interested in it and get me to learn more about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because one of my I never read any of his stuff. I know his work, Mark Twain. I've been to the Mark Twain house, but I love his quotes. I'm not sure if they always attribute all these great quotes to him. One of them is, and I'm gonna get it wrong. We can look at it. I'm gonna say it as close again, but like an empty belly is nothing compared to when the mind is starved, or something to that effect. And it's true. It's like I'm the same way. I love to read. I have so many different interests, and I can pretty much talk to anybody about anything because I have so many different interests. And I think it's good to be like that, because if, as I mentioned before, if you're closed-minded, you're just missing out on so much. And
it's true. It's true.
Especially if you're a creative person, you can't shut things out. You have to embrace everything. You don't have to like everything, but just maybe experience and say, you know what? Well, I don't like this, but I like this. Maybe I'll take a little bit from that, and I won't use this. And so I know what your husband was saying, but I look at the same thing and I'm like, I gotta tell you a funny story, because there's a documentary which I love. Our audience has to check it out. Darlene, you too. It's called "Who the Bleep is Pollock." That's what it's called. "Who the Bleep is Pollock." And a woman from down south. She knew nothing at all about her. She was. I'm not being mean when I say she was simple-minded. That's how they wanted to portray her, and that's how she was. And so she knew nothing. She goes to a tag sale and says, "Oh, I love this. I'm going to buy it for my friend." And then somebody said, "I think that's a Pollock." And she's, "What's a Pollock?" She had no idea. So in the beginning, she's like, "I don't know. I just bought it for $5." So throughout the whole documentary, they're trying to have it analyzed, and they're listening to all these different art experts. And like, "Oh, that's definitely not a Pollock. He would never cross the blue with the white like that." It's hilarious. The snobbery was hilarious. But by the end of the documentary, they offered her, I want to say $20 million. And she goes, "I want more money for that." And all of a sudden she became an art connoisseur. Like, "I will hold off for more money on my masterpiece."
Oh, wow.
So unfortunately, they never found out if it was a real Pollock or not, but it's a great documentary. It's hilarious, because I think that gets me mad in a way where the snobbery comes in. Like, "I don't like that. You don't understand art." It's like, no, maybe I just don't like it. I don't have to, So I think sometimes, you cannot like something and say, I understand it, but I don't have to like it. So that's where the documentary is full of people like that.
Oh, I know it. That is kind of funny, because I did one.
No, you're bringing work in. Look at it.
Yeah, I have one that is like this.
Oh.
So to me, so it's abstract, but it's abstract shapes. I thought I would try one, and because I saw some different paintings that had different shapes, and I said, okay, I'm just gonna try one myself and see how it turns out. So yeah, so abstract. I know Pollock is abstract, but I like the abstract shape, and so that for me, I realized that was a part of Kandinsky's work. That's the way he did it, abstract shapes. So
yeah,
that's what I tried it. So I just tried different things. I see it, I like it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try it.
And you know what? You succeeded. Are you going to be selling this? Are you selling any of this? Are you going to have your own? You know what?
Yes.
You live
yes, I would. I would love to. Yes, this is new for me. So I do want to, yes, indeed sell paintings. I have various sizes and for various prices, but yes, absolutely.
All right.
How much would that go for? That one right there.
Oh, this one, I don't know. I am, because of like the texture of this one, maybe like 75, 100, roughly. Because that one, it took a little bit more work. So it has a few layers in it. So that's why I said that. I have like the, so this one,
Ooh,
I
wow.
recently did that one. And I say 200 because it's so big, but this
Wow,
one
that's
is the Granby tree. So a friend and I went to see two of the biggest trees in Connecticut, and this was one of them.
Wow.
And I took the picture. So when I took the picture, I said, I have to paint it. I have to, because I love trees. So because they are so unique and they can be shaped any kind of way, and you could just do so many things with them. So this is that one. I did that one. I recently hosted a paint party.
Ooh.
And so this one, I did this one for, as a illustration for all those people who came to the party who wanted to paint. And yes, my subject was trees. And I call this the Christmas tree. But this is, you know, what I did with the tree. And I taught them and took them step by step through the painting of trees. Oh, there were some beautiful pieces done and made. And oh, we had a great time. We had a lot of fun. But, you know, I wanted people to know that they can, you know, be creative. You could have fun. It's relaxing and just have a good time with it. So that's that one. And I am going to show you my favorite tree.
Baby.
Okay, I painted this tree because this is a tree in my backyard. And the story behind this tree is that I thought we were going to lose this tree. This tree was not well. It was very sick and everything else, but it came back to life.
Wow.
And when it came back to life, it had these beautiful pink flowers on it. And see, I love the shape of this tree because it's awkward. So I painted it. So like I said, I love trees. And I have a few pictures of trees that I yet to paint, but so I did that. And these are also, I have like different shapes that I made. These are the smaller ones. These are like $10. But these, I did these with shapes. I have, you know, different backgrounds. Different colors.
Wow.
This is the smaller version or different take on the larger painting I did. So I love shapes. I love color. Like I said, I love the brightness. Always love color. Yeah.
Nice.
So like I said, I have them for various prices, but yeah, a couple of them, because of the amount of work it went into it. So like that one, like I said, that would probably be about 75 to 100. This one, because these two, along with this one, I entered them in the Goshen Fair, and all three of them won ribbons.
Oh,
So,
congratulations.
Yeah, so it was really amazing because it was my first time actually entering the fair as an artist. So I was thrilled. So it was exciting. So I really had a good time. But like I said, I have a bunch of them.
Right.
Wow.
If people are interested in buying them, where can they contact you and say, I want that one. I'm willing to pay the $75. I love it. And what if they wanted another one? Do you have like that? Is that the only one you have of that? If they said, well, I'd like to buy two of them, would you just paint one for them?
Of course, yes. Yes,
Right,
I
question
would.
for you. If you make a mistake on that, like how many versions of that to make that one painting? Like, and how do you correct the mistake? Because it looks meticulous, and I mean, I'm going through Zoom. I can't see any mistakes on there.
Zoom.
Okay, so like artists, sometimes you do, and so what you do is you paint over it.
Yes.
So and you paint over it until you get it to the way you want it to look, or you layer it. So you might, because this one is layered. So I started out with the background. I put the flowers on there, then I painted over the flowers, and I painted the flowers again. And then I added all of the different leaves and stems and everything else. So yeah, so if you make a mistake as an artist, you, depending on what paints and things you use, you could paint over it.
Okay.
And it could become an entirely different painting.
Yeah, it's true.
There was recently, I saw a documentary on Da Vinci, who's another genius. I mean, not only with art, he did so many, he was an expert in so many other areas, but there was a painting of Jesus that he did, and they were trying to find out if it was really him. And they kept on peeling off layer after layer after layer until finally they were saying, I think it really might be a Da Vinci. And that's how they, because it was painted over so many different times, just like you mentioned. And at the bottom layer, I guess there was something where you could see the initials of LD.
Okay, yes.
It was interesting.
Yes.
I can't remember what the name of the documentary is, but it's really interesting. I love documentaries because not only do
you learn so much from them.
Oh yeah.
And you know, Picasso too, you know, he if he made a mistake and he painted something, he would paint over it.
Yep.
And he would make layers. It's you know, like I said, with whatever paint you use, you're able to do that. But like I said, the acrylic for me, I just love it because I can just, you know, paint over it, add layer to it. And I really, like I said, and I love the color. I love the texture. I love the way it looks when the piece is finished. Yeah. And when you talk about sculpting, see, when I was in high school, I did a little bit of I don't know if we would call it sculpting, but you know, when you take the course and you create a piece and they put it in the kilt and all of that, I loved it. I had the most fantastic. At one point when I was very young too, I was like, oh, if I could get a kilt in the house, I would shape. So, you know, so I'm not opposed to, actually, I would like to try sculpting, really. I think it would be interesting to you know, see what could be created in that genre. But, oh yeah, but like I said, I love art, so.
Do you think you can make art out of this?
Oh yeah.
Do you think
Yes,
that's
I
possible?
Yeah.
That one I will buy.
Okay.
Special.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
This is a Connecticut show. Do you live in Connecticut, right?
Yes.
There's a place in Torrington. It's called I think 4 Points. Is that the name?
5 points.
5 Points. Sorry, 5 Points. And they have. I've met different artists there because they have their own art shows. I'm not sure who's in charge of it. I think Wibo might know, but I'm not sure if you already got in touch with them. But you should have your own art show there.
Oh, Judy.
Yes.
Judy. Yeah.
I do know her, and I have made some contact with them. So I'm going to pursue that. But yeah, I'd love to.
All right. Well, I mean, you know what I love about Connecticut? People say, "Oh, Connecticut's so boring." There are so many things to do in Connecticut, and just in the art world alone. I mean, you have 5 Points in Torrington, and you have, as you mentioned, the one in New Haven. Then you have the New Britain Museum. You have the Wadsworth Athenaeum. There's so much great places for art and other things. So so that's why I think that in your art, I could definitely see hanging on the Wadsworth right now. And
Thank you. Yeah. I would love to. And you know, then I do like the like simple scenes. Let me just
You got a suitcase, all right.
No, because I
Show your stuff.
Like
Show
I
your
said,
stuff.
I tried like so many different things. So whatever I like or whatever catches my eye or has interest.
Ooh,
So I love these.
Oh, wow.
So these are my take on the cherry blossom trees.
Oh,
So, so I tried those.
Been
And
very busy.
yeah, yeah.
yes.
Not too much. Not too much.
I kept, yeah. And once it was the strangest thing. Once I started, it was like, okay. It was like I was in the zone. It was like, okay, I'm just gonna go with it wherever it takes me. So that's how I managed to create quite a few of them. It was like, okay, I kept getting ideas. I kept seeing interesting things, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to paint this. I'm going to give it a shot.
Is there people always talk about writer's block. Is there such a thing as artist block? Do you ever get to a point like, I just can't think of anything? I want to create something, but nothing's coming to me.
There was a moment in there where I was like, okay, I don't feel the muse or whatever it is right now, so I'm going to take a break from it. And I did, and I stopped for a little while, but then I don't know, inspiration struck, so I tried to do some
Oh, that's nice.
different things. And so when it did, I did these.
There's some music bars back there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because what inspired this is I have a musical group that I listen to now. And they are BTS from South Korea. It's a boys band. But there is a performer in the group whose name is Park Jimin. He is one of the most amazing performers I have ever seen. And he has studied classical, dancing, ballet, but his vocals are beautiful as well. But he is an amazing performer. They did a piece called Black Swan. It was like you had gone to the theater and actually watched a classical performance. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Wow. He did another performance to a song called I Need You. It was one of the most beautiful things I have ever seen a person do. He is actually brilliant. When he steps onto the stage, it's like he is, I don't know, he loses himself and he takes you with him. So, oh yeah, I am really like fascinated with his work. So this one with the wings, so it sort of represents him because it's just a way he performs.
I think it's funny is you created this during your quote unquote artist block. Most people that would be their most creative time coming up with something like that. Like, oh my God, things are flowing. This is the best stuff I ever made. And you're like, yeah, this is what I came up with when I couldn't think of anything to do.
But I don't know but when it hits me or I get the thought, it's like, okay, I have to paint it. So I'm just going to sit down and paint it. And so I don't know why that is like that for me, but it's just the way it flows or happens with me. What if I get an idea or I see something that's interesting, I will take the picture of it. If it comes like a thought or a vision in my head, I will sit down and just paint it. But so that's how it's worked for me so far. Yeah.
What do you think of artists that paint pictures? And a perfect example of this would be Norman Rockwell, who does scenes of people, a kid at a diner or a runaway, just everyday occurrences. Would you think you'd ever try something like that, or just everyday occurrences?
Probably. I don't know. My take on it might be a little different, but yes, probably, because I have like paintings of, you know, the seashore. I did a painting of, I wanted to paint jellyfish. So I painted jellyfish.
Oh, look at that. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wanted to do like a tropical scene. So I did
Wow.
tropical.
Wow. Look at Darlene.
Yeah, and okay, so this is mine of the seashore, of the water.
Oh, look
I
at that.
thought that was, I liked that. I saw that. That was interesting. And I did this one just plain of simply of flowers because
That's nice.
I thought I like them. So I just painted them. So anything that was like interesting or I thought was interesting. Now this one too, this one reminds me of a friend.
Hmm.
She has a Irish background, but it reminds me of her. It's something that I think she would like. This is her style. So I was thinking about her one day. I said, okay, I think I'm gonna paint something that reminds me of her. So that's what I did. And this one, I did this one because I thought tropics and the bright colors. So I had that like, I don't know, vision of it, and I just painted it. So, like I said, I am open to like anything that is interesting, anything that, you know, like I said, catches my eye. I am definitely open to painting it. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever had somebody come up to you and say, I'd love you to paint this for me? And if you ever personalized for them, say, all right, I'll do this for you, and made it for them?
Not quite that way. I've had some people come to me and say, okay, we're going to do this art thing and we want you to paint something for us. Okay. And I did. I made pictures of butterflies. I did this painting of like 3 objects flying. One was a butterfly, one was a seahorse, and the other one looked like a dragon. And but when I started it, it was like, okay, so what do I think would be interesting? And I just started painting it. So it was absolutely too. I have those, but those are in the other room. I would have to get up and get those. But yeah, those are I did that. So yeah, I'd be more than willing to try to paint something if someone had a request of something they wanted done. Oh, and I did do this major painting of my husband some years ago, even before I started thinking about painting really. I painted him. Wow. Yeah. I have that in my other room too.
Wow.
Yeah.
You always had it in
and
you.
If you saw my husband and I brought the painting, you would know it was him.
That's amazing. Now, did this all come from being cooped up because of COVID last year and said, you know what, I want to keep busy. I don't want to just sit here, watch TV all day, and then you started painting? Is that how it happened?
Yeah, that was part of that. Like when she made the suggestion, I said, yeah, I want to do something that's creative, you know, that's not just, like you said, sitting around and everything. Yeah. I had been reading, you know, a few books because I wanted to, you know, I am interested in, so I think it's 15th and 16th century history. So I was reading about the, what are the families? They had a bunch of them, the Estes, and also it's a little bit about church. And I wanted to understand the history and why those things came to be. It was kind of interesting to read about the maybe 5 or 6 most powerful families of that era and in that time, and the stuff they did, you know, from the Medicis. And it was wow. Wow. And they did a lot of stuff that was not good, but I found it fascinating. So while in between that, I was like, okay, yeah, let's do painting. Let's try something. Mhm.
The rest is history.
That's it.
Yes.
Darlene Battle.
What do you think of paint? Like, one was my favorites. I've only known one of his work. Maybe I've seen others, but I don't really know if I saw it. But Edvard Munch, The Scream. Are you a fan of his work?
Oh yeah, I love his work. It's interesting that you say Scream because I love what he did.
Yeah.
It was yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
He sort of captured everybody at least one moment of their life going, I can't take it.
Exactly.
We can all relate to that painting at least many more than one time in our life.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I'm like, wow. When I saw it, I was like, okay, I can understand. I've had those moments. It's like, wow, oh my God.
You know, it's funny. Then you have people like Andy Warhol, who was famous for many things, but he painted the Campbell's soup can, and that sold for millions and millions of dollars. So years ago, I was in radio, and I said, "All right, I was talking to my listeners, just joking around. I was like, all right, I'm going to paint a Mountain Dew can. How much would anybody pay for that? I wouldn't pay anything for that. I said, why would you pay millions for an Andy Warhol? Well, it's because it's Andy Warhol. I said, so basically you're paying for the name. You're not paying for the art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. His, you know, his soup cans I know are famous, but my friend and I forget what museum we went to, but they had a piece by him that and it was a large piece. It went all the way around the room. Now that piece I thought was amazing. I thought that piece was fascinating. You know, the soup cans, okay, but no. Andy Warhol. There is a piece of art that he did that went all the way around a room. Now that was amazing. That I would definitely.
I hope it was chicken soup.
No. It turned out to be a whole lot of different shapes, but they were like shapes that were connected. So as you walked around the room, you could see the shapes, and as the shapes changed, the color changed and everything else. But it was an amazing piece to look at, to see.
And where did you see this?
Oh goodness, I can't think of the name of the museum.
In Connecticut?
Was it in Connecticut or in
Britain?
New York?
Maybe the Metropolitan.
No, not the Metropolitan.
Guggenheim?
Oh, I would have to look it up for you, but
no, that's why I would love to look. I'm going to look it up online and see if I can find that, because that sounds very interesting. Because all I know from him is, you know, his movies that he made, such as Frankenstein, his artwork, and the only one I ever saw that I know of is the Campbell's soup can. So yeah, I would love to see that, because maybe there's so much more to him that I didn't realize, and it would be a shame that he's only known for just that when there's so much other things. What is the biggest, speaking of that, what is the biggest piece of work that you've done? Have you done something to that magnitude where it takes up a whole wall, or do you have a room downstairs where you could do like an 8x10 or whatever size that is?
So the biggest piece I've done is of my husband. I don't know if you want me to. I could run and get it because it's just right in the next room.
Yeah,
but that is okay. All right, I'll be right back.
Get a hand truck. Yeah, she's very talented, Darlene.
No, she definitely is. For somebody that just self-taught and decided to paint last year, said, yeah, maybe I should start painting. That's very impressive.
Yeah, That's a gift there. Man.
Why we expose the talent here in the local artist show featuring Wibo and Rich.
That's it. Yeah, I'm going down to the South one weekend. Do the open mic.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Okay.
that's him.
Yeah, that's the biggest piece I've done. And I did this piece actually really before I really started like concentrating on painting. But we were doing a art project because we are originally from New Haven. For our community, we wanted to represent our community. So we were from the Newhallville area.
Oh,
so there were about 6 different communities, you know, displaying art and local artists. So this was the painting that I did so that they could let it be a part of our project. So that's the
great.
biggest.
So
thank you.
What do you do? Do you buy what you want to paint it on like that? And then like, how do you start with that? Where would you buy that? An art store? Or?
Yeah, I would buy it in an art store. But this particular piece, when we were doing it for our neighborhood or our community, Yale was a part of that. So they helped to supply, you know, the art material and everything else. And so when they did, I used it, and a friend of mine actually put the picture itself on this board for me. So he took it from the panel and put it on the board. Because like I said, I had done this some years ago and I had it stored away, but a friend of mine, I said, I want it back. And so what he did, he put it on the board for me. Yeah. So that's my biggest piece.
That's incredible. As I said several times during this interview, the fact that you have no prior like classes or anything, you just picked up a paintbrush and said, yeah, I want to start painting. And this, I mean, that's, if I went to a museum, I would think, is that Van Gogh? Is that a Dali that I never saw before? And that's impressive.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. And I just wanted to show you this one because I mentioned it. So that's the one where I did the piece that looks like a dragon and a seahorse and, you know, butterfly sort of. So, yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I definitely look forward to one of your art exhibits, seeing it hopefully very soon. And I really am interested in maybe checking out and buying some of your art. So once again, tell our viewers if they are interested in buying your art, where they can do that.
Okay, if you just email me, my email address, D as in David, Battle, BATTLE, 99@yahoo.com. And if you get in touch with me or text me there or email me there, we can, you know, do a painting, get a painting to you and make arrangements.
All right. You know what? And between me and you, you're much more talented than Jackson Pollock.
Thank you.
Yeah, right.
That's much better than a finger painting. And on that note, is there anything you want to add before we go?
Well, also, if anyone is interested in doing a painting party, I would love to. You can also contact me about that. And believe me, we will have lots of fun. Like I said, I had an amazing time. You will have an amazing time. And yes, you can create art. Yes, you can. Yes.
You keep saying it. I think there's too many people that are afraid of failure, afraid of looking stupid, that they're afraid to try. I mean, to me, as I always say, the only way to succeed is by failing, and you have to keep trying. Don't be afraid of what other people think. Just do it. And I think that having a painting party with other people who are in the same stage as them, I think it'll be not only fun, but they can learn a lot, and they'll gain confidence, and maybe they can go off on their own and become their own artist. So I love the fact
Exactly.
that you're helping people. And
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
speaking of fun, I'm so glad that Wibo introduced me to you and that we had you on the show. It was great.
Thank
I've
you.
been trying to get Darlene for a while. Busy.
Yes, he has.
Busy. Busy is good.
Yeah.
Busy is good. I look forward to seeing more and more of your work. Do you have a website yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, I will definitely be emailing you soon, and hopefully some of our viewers will too, because you will not be disappointed, and it's money well worth spent.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Wibo, do you have anything for Darlene before we go?
Darlene, you're the best, Darlene. Like she really shocked me when I heard about it. She told me a long time ago about the artwork, and I forgot about it. And I said, "Oh yeah, Darlene." She said, she'd be good for the local artist show.
She was. Yeah, no, she definitely was. And I'd love to have you back when you come out with some more stuff, or you have something you want to promote. Come on the show anytime. Open invitation.
I would love to, because I am also, so like I said, I love music.
Yep.
So I've written a few things,
Ah,
but I would love to. There is a song that I want to actually get out into the public. I just want to see, how they would feel about it, about the music. And so I would love to do that.
yes.
And sure.
All right. Well, you know what? We have musician, artist, humorist, just a great person in general. The Darlene
you.
Battle, a name that will not be forgotten.
Right. May get an autograph now. Darlene Battle.
That wraps up another edition of Rich and Wibo Present the Local Artist Show. I want to thank the extremely talented, very humble Darlene Battle for coming on the show. So she's going to be on again, as you heard right here, to not only show her art, but to sing us a song, an original. Can't wait to hear that. And I would also like to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in every week. Enjoy your day, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
All right.
From the frenetic mind of author Rich Sear. 5 terrifying short stories, now available in one collection. Confessions of a Frenetic Mind. 5 tales of blood-curdling terror, available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.